Okay, so imagine you wake up in whatever you're wearing or not wearing on a Saturday morning and you head down to make a cup of coffee. You're happy that you have all this open space on the second floor and big windows. And as you're walking down the stairs, you look face to face with your neighbor looking up at you from their couch. Is that good? My name is Andrew. I'm an architect that specializes in home design, and I was recently a judge on a parade of homes. We spent an entire day looking at these spec houses, and they all had something in common. Some did it better than others, and we're going to break that down today. So, this thing that they had in common is on the surface, it's kind of nice, a nice idea where instead of going upstairs to a hallway or a number of hallways, they have this extra living room space, and that creates a big open area. Some of them, that double height open space is wasted because it's not really in a living space. It's kind of very hallway-ish, so you don't really appreciate the big open space. But what they're doing that really screws it up, they do something nice and then they take it away. So they have this open space, they have all these windows, but these windows are right next to the other houses. Because they are the developers, they built all these houses right next to each other. They pack them in so tight, you're looking at your neighbor. Is that good? Do you want that? You feel like you're in a fishbowl. And at some point, you want to ask yourself, it's like, would I rather be in a condo? Like, I think it would be better at that point to make condos out of these things, out of this that land, instead of making house after house after house that's so tightly put together that you feel like you don't have any privacy. They don't have any backyards. They barely have any side yards. The big open windows that they have get counterfeited by these views that you're looking into your neighbor's house. And the first thing I think about is like that Saturday morning experience. Like, do you want that? Do you want to have to feel like you have to get dressed in your own house to go from one part of the house to the other because your neighbors are there and you don't have shades there? It's really bizarre. What do you think? Like, I think like you should put like, wouldn't it be great if those were condos? And then you could build more in that space. And who's going to do it right? Like, it ain't going to be Lennar Homes doing it right because they want to pack in the houses. So it would need to be somebody else. I wouldn't trust those developers to do condos because you see how they do single family homes. Everybody who wants a single family home wants privacy and independence, right? Am I wrong? Like, are you okay with that? Like, are the people who buy those houses okay with that as opposed to having more space? Like, for me, I would rather be in a condo, and it can be designed home like, where you feel like you're the only one there and you're not looking into somebody else's property. In Australia, there's zoning regulations where you can't have a window that faces into a neighbor's property. Imagine if we had that in the US, like, so that like one window doesn't look into another. Do I have that right, Australia? That's my understanding of it. So, like, imagine if we had that in our homes, then you can build a house next to another house. You don't have to do the bare minimum. Like, they're just packing in the bare minimum because, as my developer friends would say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. And so for them, they make the dollars on packing in the houses. Do I think you could make more dollars if it's well designed and maybe spaced out more, and then you don't have the labor of building that extra house on the street? Spread it out. I think so, but I mean, I know they run their numbers XYZ ways, right? You would think. What do you think? Like, I think it doesn't make any sense. The other things that tick me off about it is, the lighting was all terrible on them, from the high end to the low end. Even like the high end ones, the high end, I mean, 1.25 million for a spec house, main views houses, they were better. But when you sit in the living room and you look up, you're just looking at a grid of can lights. Like, they didn't think about lighting. All of the houses had the crappiest cabinetry you can picture. You could see which ones are like these blind trend followers, like with the black faucets and the black knobs and the black door hinges that just stick out like eyesores in this house this design that shouldn't have black this and that, because it doesn't match with everything else, and it ends up looking like an eyesore. I don't think it's a good idea. I was just talking to somebody that used to live in a house like that, and she said it was a nightmare because she never felt like she had any privacy. And so I had to wonder, like, somebody that wants a low maintenance house, would you be better off? Would that person be better off in a condo? Would you be better? Like, it's this obsession with a single family house at the expense of your own privacy that I think is ridiculous. If you're ever in like a tourist spot and you've got like pretty girls with menus telling you everything's delicious, the food sucks, right? You only have to fall for that once. That was the experience walking through a Lennar home. People telling me this is beautiful, that's beautiful. No, it's not beautiful. It sucked. But the good thing is they put, you know, bodies in a house, and people need houses. And the way that they made things cheaper is they would put a lot of space, square footage, in spaces that needed the least amount of detail, like a pantry. They had the most gigantic pantries. It really makes me wonder. I have to imagine that these companies have a lot figured out on their market, and it's not the market of my clients. So on some part, I'm just scratching my head. I'm like, okay, maybe it's not for me, but it's for you. But the fact that a lot of it is counterintuitive, and yeah, just counterintuitive. It makes me feel like you're counterfeiting the good for the bad. Tell me what you think, and I'll talk to you next time. So, do you want this? Hi, neighbor. Hi, neighbor. We're watching you.